Welcome back to the School of Hard Knocks podcast. I'm your host, Mark W. Knox. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for an absolute treat. I don't want to waste too much time with the normal pleasantries. We've got an absolutely amazing, I don't know if you want to call them guests or friends of the show, panel discussion this evening. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring them in. But again, this is going to be a great show. So stick around for sure. Without further ado, I've got four friends here. Of course, you guys know Cecilia, my beautiful wife, my co-host for this evening. We've got Miss Robin Ellington, y'all? And we've got the one and only, as you know her on the socials, Whitney B.
Whitney B.
Hey.
Ladies, again, I want to get right into it. Thank you guys for coming on the show. For those of you who are not familiar with our panelists, these are what I would consider the top business women in the hair care industry in the region, really, because I know they all have clients that live outside of the city of Cincinnati, that travel from Kentucky and Dayton and Columbus and Indianapolis just to see them, whether it's for routine service or special service. These are really the top of the food chain when it comes to what do you guys call yourself? Let's start there, right? When somebody says, for example, Robin, when somebody says, what do you do?
What do you do? Go ahead, Robin. What you do?
So I really try not to tell them.
I know that's right. Oh, she just went there. We talked about this, Miss Robin.
Explain that. You try not to tell them. Explain that.
I say that because whenever the work is out that I am a cosmetologist, hairdresser, hairstylist, then the conversation immediately shifts and I no longer learn about whoever I'm around. It just becomes focused on hair.
How long have you been in this industry?
Since 2000, legally.
Right. Let's just talk about the legal E part, right? So 21 plus years in the industry. You have been an entrepreneur for the vast majority of those years. Is that correct?
True.
So you've seen your fair share of people, right? And you've seen your fair share of experiences. And what it sounds like to me is you've met so many people that ask you what you do. And instead of you having the opportunity to get to know those people, they think they're finding common ground by basically just talking about hair. You know who else hates that? No, I ain't gonna say hates it. You know who else does not like that? Is Cecilia.
Tell me.
Cecilia, as much as she loves hair and helping people feel good, she does not like to be the center of the conversation.
Right.
Well, sometimes when you're a hairstylist, it easily can be carried into your personal life. And it's like, you end up crossing all these different types of lines with relationships and stuff. And, you know how it is, babe, when we go out of town or visit family, I think the expectation is, oh, you in town, you can do my hair. And that also shifts the conversation as well. So, or when I've gotten my hair done before in the past, I try not to tell people that the stylist that is doing my hair, that I do hair.
The
I try
pressure.
to just go as myself and just do it, because the moment they know that I'm a licensed cosmetology, I think that it again the conversation does shift. But real quick, can we roll back the boat just a
Of
little
course.
bit
Of course.
before we get in? Because I didn't know Miss Robin was just gonna die for it like that. Okay, but I just want to introduce these ladies. Nah, for real. Wait, no, real quick. Wait, how you feel about that topic though? When somebody asks you, so what do you do? You know what I mean? So what do you say? And then I'm gonna roll the boat back. Go on.
Honestly, I'm gonna piggyback on to what Robin says. It had got to the point where I'm out, and I mean literally, we could be at any type of social function, family function, and it's like, oh well, how's the business? Oh, it's great. Do you have any
Mm.
appointments available on this day and that day? Oh no, I'm sorry, my business days
Mm-hmm.
are Tuesday through Saturday. How about you check back in
Mm-hmm.
with me then?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
um, it wasn't until I felt like I set those healthy boundaries
Hmm.
with people and kind of just like deterring
Mm.
the conversation to where now it's, and 9 times out of 10, if I say, hey, I'm Whitney, and then someone else says, oh, she does hair, I might give them a business card. Oh, okay, see you later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, I
See,
try to shut
Mm.
it down before it gets too far.
so
Absolutely.
here's the thing I can appreciate about the industry that you guys are in, right? So the three of you, essentially, like on the surface, it would seem like you all do the same thing, right? You all are cosmetologists, hairdressers, hairstylists, right? But the reality is, all three of you have completely different business models.
We
And,
do. We do.
and
So
not only
so
that, hold on, not only that, there's some overlap in the demographics that you serve, but you also serve different demographics of people, right? So just like, okay, I'm thinking about Whitney right now. Whitney, Whitney, you have a salon and you have a barbershop. Is that right?
Yes.
And Whitney is somebody who is present on social media, right? I mean, I ain't gonna say she all over the place, but like you
Yes,
can't
I
scroll through
am. I
Instagram
don't want
without
to be
seeing
put in a
something.
box.
Yeah, right, exactly. You can't scroll through Instagram without seeing something that she's doing, right? So it would seem that you would want the extra attention from those individuals, right? It would seem like that, but that's not how you actually built your business. Why don't you tell the people how you actually built your business?
So basically, I kind of built it. I was started off doing hair in college. I was the college dorm stylist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I kind of started, doing hair, doing my friend's hair in my dorm room. And it got to the point where it's like, oh, I really like doing hair, like more than just on the weekends. Like, I really want to make this a career. So I actually ended up leaving college into hair school. I didn't know like how like and when I was gonna like own a salon, but I always that was my always was my intention
Yep.
was to leave, own businesses. So I had that in my mindset, like, okay, like I gotta hit the ground running. Like I'm hustling, like nonstop. So that's kind of like how I would say I started my business, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm getting to the point where, just, taking notes out of Robin's book, like she for a while kind of mentored me, like, hey, like you ain't got to just do one thing. You can do these multiple things, but you have to find that balance. You know what I'm saying? And so when you say like, oh, she do a little bit of everything, I've kind of learned like I don't just have to be in the hair box. I don't have to always be
Right.
what would be considered, oh, she have to be super professional. No, I like to, in a sense, model. I like taking pictures. And I now try to be social on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you might see me post a funny meme. You might see me post something a little ratchet. You never know what you're going to get from me. But I've learned to just show the different sides of me. You
Yeah.
don't have to be conformed, is what I would like to say.
Yeah, no, and that's honestly that's the exact answer I was looking for, and you brought up another good point, Robin. As someone who has mentored not only the two ladies that are with us today, but other people, um, what keeps you? I guess what word I'm looking for is what keeps you focused and to have the ability to pour into other people, right? Because a lot of times people get to a certain level and either they one don't feel like they have anything to contribute because they've been so locked in for so long, or two, they just don't want to. Because it's very easy for a quote unquote seasoned professional to not want to raise up a generation because you see them as a threat, right? So talk to us a little
That's
bit about,
good.
how you've been able to walk that line so gracefully over the years.
That's kind of multifaceted, but I'll try to answer that question the best way I can. One, my faith.
Right.
It's my faith. My faith background really has girded me, because we all know as cosmetologists, hairstylists, hairdressers, um, it's a faith walk. The only client you have
For
is the one
sure.
that's currently in your chair.
You ain't
And
lying.
we're on this podcast. So
You
right
ain't
now,
lying.
nobody's in our chair.
That's right.
Nobody, because we're here.
Wow.
So with that, you have to respect the guest.
Mm-hmm.
They pay your bills. They send your children to school. They pour into you also. It's a give and take. It's a ebb and flow. Um, you just have to respect the profession. Now, there's times where you may hit a wall. And at that time, I would suggest maybe exploring a different avenue within our profession, because the beautiful thing about being a cosmetologist, the sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to be pigeonholed into not
Facts.
just, let's say, doing one genre of hair, but also you don't have to do one ethnic background.
Sure.
You can become very diverse, in your clientele.
Mm-hmm.
So, and or you can go from behind the chair to in front of the chair in terms of teaching, educating, um, being socially active on social media. It's just a lot of different ways you can continue to encourage yourself in your profession
Absolutely.
without throwing in the towel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cecilia, why don't
And
you
also it's
go? Go ahead. Go
important,
ahead.
I'm sorry,
No, no, you fine.
it's also important to recognize if you are hitting that wall,
Yeah.
pull back and
Mm-hmm.
reassess.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
all of you at one point have hit a wall.
Yeah.
I've actually
Oh,
seen
I
Cecilia
have.
hit a
Several.
wall, uh, right? In the most
Yeah.
figurative sense. But I was gonna say, going along on those lines, Cecilia, for those who aren't familiar, um, again, I talked about, a different business model, right? Why don't you explain what you've been able to do as far as your business model and how you kind of branched it off in a different direction?
For sure, for sure. For me personally, when I when I got my license y'all in '05, I went to school, graduated '09. I wanted to work my degree and see how that was going to do. But I realized that my passion was hair. And I think sometimes when you get back into an industry, or you're new to the industry, you can also think, oh my God, there's so much competition out there, or I'm not going to be able to get all the clients that I need and all of this. And first, you do have to believe in yourself and know that especially in the beauty industry, there's enough business to go around. There really is. And as soon as you can realize that, you can
Definitely.
move forward. So there's a certain level of humbleness that has to come in play when you're working a business like this. One of the first things I did I think without me even knowing, was I seeked mentorship. And one of my first mentors was Whitney. Whitney continues to this day to be a mentor and an inspiration to me.
Yes.
Um,
Thank
and she
you.
really just helped me, and she inspired me to get back into the industry, because you remember when I was working corporate, you know what I mean? I was coming to you
Hmm.
often, you know what I mean? And I would always be like, I really can do this. Like I really, and I started with Wit, I would think, when she first started in the industry. I mean, I don't know. We was
Yes.
off of Montgomery Road in that one
That was
building.
like
I don't know if that was your
2011.
first location or
Yep.
not. Okay,
I was
okay.
out there in Norwood.
So listen, Wit started with me, y'all, when I was coming out of a relaxer, actually. That's how far back we go. So anyways, I got really inspired. And then I hit a wall. I did hit a wall in my career, and really just the spirit of Robin pulled me to her. There was something about Robin. Now I knew of Robin, but not really. Robin and Whitney worked side by side at one point in time. And I would just see Robin, you know what I mean? And it was just like her spirit was just like on point, like, who is this queen? You know what I mean?
Hey, Robin be on
And
Oh,
we
big
just
bless
topics.
her.
she on I'm telling you, it's like her whole flow, y'all, is very peaceful.
She a vibe.
There's some authority to it.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? Like,
That's right.
we gonna put it like that. Now literally, the way Rob and I met was just so genuine. We actually met at church. And that's how that relationship started right there. And I just found it was such a round circle for me, that how Robin and I met genuinely face to face, and then
Mm-hmm.
that relationship just grew. So when I hit a wall in my career, when I knew I just wanted more for myself. I knew that I wanted to, like, taper down some of my services. You know what I mean? Yes, I can do a lot of things in this industry, but I really wanted to focus on, say, 5 services. You know what I mean? And so Robin was able to just sit down with me. Oh, and I was coming into a new place. I was coming into, like, a new part of, like, motherhood and professionalism, right? And that's a lot. Like, when you out here being young and hustling, that's a whole different mindset when you are hustling and a mother. Then when you hustling
Right.
and a wife, when you hustling
Facts.
and you got other stuff going on, like, it switch it up. So Robin was able, you
Mm.
guys, to focus me in on. She was the first one to really teach me your time is valuable. What you said and what your standards are, that's just what the client is going to have to accept. Period. And the way Robin lays it out, it's like, okay, this is what we gonna do. Blah 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 blah. Like, dang, I can't even interject. You know what I mean? But what I would say, I mean, it wasn't no changing it. It was just like Robin. She said, "This is what it is," and that's what it was gonna be. But all it was all due respect. Circling back, you have to come to a point where you're actually humble enough to even receive the information,
Mm.
Amen.
especially if you want
Mhm.
to grow. And
Mm.
I feel like my business has like grown. There's so much genuine growth out of it. Um since since these two ladies have been in my life. Um
Word.
and y'all, it's it's okay. Like, there's enough to go around. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
yes, we're in the beauty industry, but we serve 3 different types of clientele. And it's just beautiful. And we all live in the same city. Like, and I'm not even,
Hmm.
Right.
nobody's worried about what the other person is doing. So
But
I
Absolutely.
think
here's
if
the
you just
question.
individualize yourself and everything is cool.
Here's
What's
the
up?
question though. The question is, I mean, from where I sit, as somebody who's married to somebody in the industry, right, and somebody who knows a few barbers, you know what I mean? Like, I know some people, right? It seems like you three are in the minority when it comes to being able to, number one, humble yourselves enough to accept and to request a mentor type relationship, and number two, just being cordial and friendly, and not automatically seeing the next stylist in the next suite or the next stylist down the street in the new salon and getting upset, jealous, or whatever, right? In this city, I'll be honest,
Right.
there is a weird vibe
Yeah.
of everybody seems kind of cool, but the reality is you just don't know, right? And you, like,
Yeah.
you ask this barber, hey, do you know such and such? They like, yeah, he all right. It's like, man, like, it's plenty of heads. Not only is it plenty of heads, hair is just constantly growing,
Hey.
right? So, so I'm gonna direct this question to Whitney, because Whitney, as someone who is
Okay.
forward facing, especially on your social media, is a notch above the average cosmetologist, because you're obviously an owner and you also have a barbershop, right? You're
Whoop, whoop.
Right.
probably you're
Yeah.
probably the you're probably the target of more of what I'm talking about in terms of jealousy
Mm,
and hate, right? Do you feel any
mm,
of that, and how do you process
mm.
it?
To be honest, I don't like. I've always kind of like really considered myself in my own lane, in
Mm-hmm.
my own
Mhm,
head. Before,
mhm.
when I was probably like, when I look at my before and my afters of like just how my career has accelerated in my head, I was already live. I was already bomb. You couldn't really tell me
There it
nothing.
is.
And I feel like now you still can't. So to me, it's like I don't see other people as in like competition. Now, would I say, do people see me as a competition? I'm going to say yes. However,
Absolutely.
I kind
Absolutely.
of just let it be whatever it's going to be, because
Mm.
at the end of the day, I realized early on what is for me always will be for me, and no one can take that away.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Mark, as far as like you feel like our styles are different, and it's enough money and whatnot to go around. That is like 100% true. And I feel like when people really grasp that idea that, can't nobody take this away from me. It's enough money go around. And then to piggyback on what also Robin said earlier, clients are really not our clients. People are loyal. I feel like to some degree, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, that day you can't get them in.
Mm.
That one time your schedule doesn't isn't no longer parallel to theirs, they're gonna go to the next best option.
That's right.
So it's like
True.
you almost have to really detach yourself, detach your feelings, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're providing a service. That's really what it is. They like us for
There it
whatever
is.
reasons,
Hmm.
but ultimately we're providing a service. And I think that's one thing we all, in spite of the different, styles or methods or whatnot of
Mm-hmm.
how we perform the services, I think that's one thing we all have in common. At the end of the day, we're professional. We're going to get the job done. We're going to be respectful.
Right.
And in a sense, we've all some way, shape, or form in corporate. So I feel like to some degree, it
Mm.
can kind of give us a somewhat an advantage because we
Sure.
understand
You get
the
it.
social, the customer
Mm-hmm.
service aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
There
just
it
a, oh,
is.
I'm doing your hair, I don't care. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like a little
Right.
bit more for us to that. It's like, oh, I have a reputation. I have this. We see the bigger picture. Ultimately,
Right.
it's like, what's the point? I can be, but at the end of the day, when I'm in this salon, hey, how you doing? You're gonna get a whole different side of me
Exactly.
Yeah,
outside
yeah, yeah,
of,
yeah.
you might
Hmm.
get what's up. I don't feel like talking today after that. But
Ooh,
in that salon, you're gonna get
ooh.
a pleasant
Hmm.
Right.
experience, from me.
Listen,
So
Hmm.
that's
man.
kind of like my take on it.
You said a lot. I'm gonna try to unpack this thing because I got a lot of questions now. Right. So, wow. The first thing that I want everybody to understand and grasp, if you are listening to my voice right now, if you are in any type of service industry, you have to understand that you own nothing when it comes to your clients. You own nothing. Yes, you've got
Mm.
some loyal people. Yes, you've got some people that have been coming to you for years, but that will all change when you go on vacation.
Come on.
Right? That will all
Start
change when
maternity leave.
when somebody says something that they don't like, why they in your space. Like, honestly, that can change. You don't have anybody under contract. You don't have anybody under monthly agreement. Nobody. You don't own anything,
Absolutely.
which means
Absolutely.
that you have to put your best foot forward at
Show up.
every single interaction that you have with your
Mhm.
client. You cannot half step. Even if somebody comes to you every week and spends $200, you cannot half step, right? Number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, it is 7 times. This is a proven statistic. It is 7 times. It costs you 7 times the money to get a new client than it does to keep a current client. Think about that.
Facts.
It costs you
Word.
7 times. We're talking about advertising. We're talking about consultations. We're talking about just
Word.
that nervous feeling you get right before you shampoo they hair. Right. It costs you 7 times more in order to get a new client than it does to keep an existing client. Which
Hmm.
also means it's pretty easy to lose a client. So I'm gonna ask
Hmm.
Miss Robin, since you have probably seen the most people, what is the quickest way that you think to lose a client? The quickest way.
That's a good
Mm.
question.
That's a very good question.
Probably just not valuing them,
Boom,
you
done.
know,
Drop the mic. Everybody
not
leave the room.
valuing them.
Not valuing them.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna put words in your mouth. Regardless of how much money they're about to spend with you.
Regardless,
Facts.
regardless. Everyone
Mhm.
has taken time to choose you and share time with you.
Mm.
like we all said, there's a hairdresser, there's a barber shop on every corner. They chose you in that moment. Respect it. And back to what you were saying a little bit earlier, like um, you want to put your best foot forward. Well, there's times when you don't. So what do you do in that case? In that case, you own it.
You
You own
own
it.
it.
Yep.
You
Wow.
own it so that you can possibly retain that client so that you don't have to pay that extra 7 times more to get another one,
Yep.
right?
I think
So,
that was the thing
yeah,
right there.
yeah,
Speak on that,
own it.
Wit.
I felt like when she said like the value and I think that's where, because sometimes it's really easy to kind of in our industry have, I guess, miscommunication because we're performing a service.
Hmm.
Mishaps are going to happen, and we're not 100% perfect. But I think
Right.
it's like when someone like expresses and they're in that vulnerable state, like, hey, like I didn't like this, or can you do it like this time? I think being receptive and open, to that constructive criticism. Because honestly, I try to have that like open, relationship with my clients because I would rather you tell me like, hey, where I didn't really like when you curled my hair that way, than you
Right.
go on social media, Google,
There you go.
and
Yeah.
blast me
Yeah.
when it really could have just been a conversation and have been like, hey, give me the opportunity to fix that. It could have been one of those
Yes.
things where, hey, I'll redo it. Or,
Hmm.
but when you leave, you never come back. I always tell people like constructive criticism is the best. That's how industries are able to excel. If I never know that certain things bother you or whatnot,
Right.
Right.
how can I
Right.
grow?
Hmm.
Because I
Absolutely.
feel
Right.
like it's a little ignorant to think, oh, well, they know what they're doing. Not all the time. We
Yeah.
see 10, 12, 15 people a day. I
Hmm.
I forgot. I'm sorry, sis.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just I think just
And we're
having that open
artists.
dialogue and exactly, yeah.
There's
Right.
an
We
artistry.
definitely
There's an
are.
artistry in our industry, and that goes for anybody
Absolutely.
that's like, a makeup artist, hairstylist, even if
Yes.
you're a
Mm-hmm.
massage therapist,
Yes.
that communication is key. And if you are someone who's listening now and you do get services, I'm gonna just give y'all some advice. We gotta make sure we're showing each other some pictures. We're like really like explaining this thing sometimes, because you can look at my red hair and say, oh yeah, I want some red hair like you. Okay, but what does that mean? Because of the hues that I see may not be the same thing that you're seeing.
Absolutely. That's
So,
so
but
Oh,
true.
that's
right.
the part right there, and
You
just
say
allow
tomato, I say tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
say right,
And
right, because somebody can
explaining.
look at
Yep.
this, and somebody can look at this and think that it's more of a copper. But anyways, we not gonna
But you
even
said it
like
right there,
start speaking Greek
explaining,
to y'all for real.
even that process.
Yeah. Would you
Mhm.
would you say, Whitney?
Mhm.
Would you say?
I said, just like what to piggyback off what Cece said, like just explaining that process. Sometimes people just like, oh no, we can't do that. Well, why can't? Why can't we do that?
Mhm.
Right.
Your hair
Right.
might not be healthy, it might
Mhm.
not be in the best state.
Yeah.
You might have had
Mhm.
previously colored on hair, whereas I
Mm.
had
Right.
virgin hair. My hair is gonna take it's
Mhm.
so I try to, you know, explain myself with clients sometimes as if they don't know. No different than Mark said, like, look, on this podcast, talk to everyone as if they don't know.
That's
And I
right.
think when we do
Mm-hmm.
that as artists, it
There it
becomes a
is.
little easier for us,
Well, there's
Yeah.
you
also a
know?
professional responsibility too, right? Now,
Amen.
like, I don't know if there's like an oath that you guys take before you get your license, right? But like,
Well, in a sense, it's ethics.
Kind of,
there
sorta.
you go. Okay,
We
boom.
Yeah.
do take
Yeah.
courses on
There
ethics,
you go.
and then there's advanced training that you all should take to reinforce those things. But yeah, there's a sort of an oath going on
Yes,
because you
and you
paying
do.
Yes.
me for this service.
Mm-hmm.
That's an oath because
That's
I
an
just
oath.
paid you some money.
Mhm.
So, in the
It
words
sure
of
do.
in the
And a whole bunch
idea
of
of a
headaches.
consumer, that's an oath.
Uh huh.
Okay, because you just took my money.
So you've got
Mm.
a
Yeah.
professional responsibility to number
Absolutely.
one.
Facts.
Number one, in my opinion, is to be honest. And Whitney, you said a word that we don't typically associate with entrepreneurs, right? You said a word that typical entrepreneur coach would be like, yo, get that out your vocabulary. And that word is can't. Right? You have to know when you literally can't do something.
Come on.
Because,
gosh.
listen, I done heard the stories of people coming into my wife's spot and asking her to do stuff, and she'll be up 2-3 nights that week trying to figure out if she can do it, only to come to the conclusion like, yo,
right.
can't do it. Or I'm not comfortable doing
It's
it.
so beautiful to have a network. Okay, so
Come
Cecilia
on, yeah.
and Whit, these my babies. I love them so much. There are certain things that they are able to do efficiently on a different level than I could ever even attempt to do. So if someone steps to me and asks me, "Can you do A, B, C, or whatever?" I'm like, "No." However, I know someone who can. Boom. I take that right off my
Yeah.
plate. I don't have to think
Yeah.
about it anymore. I don't have to fester over it.
Yep.
I just move
Yeah.
that person on to someone who can take
Mm-hmm.
care of them. And I have regained sleep and I've put money back in my bank account because I have a different person in my chair
That's right.
that I can service.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yep.
you said it right there,
Now
Robin.
that's
You
not
said
to
build a
say don't
network.
challenge yourself. There's times when we should challenge ourselves so that we won't become stagnated and things of that nature. But oh my gosh, if I can say anything, ooh, pass them on.
Pass them on.
Pass them on.
Pass them on.
What you say? What you
And
said?
build
You
a
said
network, like
networking
she
with. What was you
said. Build
saying?
a network.
I'm sorry. Build a
Robin has said
network.
it. She was like,
Yes.
build a network. And I think that in the industry, people a lot of times, like you, Marcus, said earlier, like with the whole competition and whatnot thing, when you don't see people as that, I think it's a little bit easier to befriend, to build a network. Like I have
Mm,
so many friends in this industry. And if I'm not sure on something, or if I just need, advice on just different scenarios as business women, in this industry, I don't mind calling. Because my thing is, I felt
Right.
like in my earlier years of life, I done failed enough to where if I can potentially avoid hitting a wall or falling, I don't want to do that. Like I want to make this so much easier,
mhm,
So I'll pick up the phone and call them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
mhm. Because me and Wit have definitely done that, like from a POS standpoint. Like, like what booking you
Yes.
using? Did you hear they doing this? Like, just bounce ideas off of each other and perspectives off of each
Absolutely.
other. Because sometimes
Mhm.
when you're in a service-led industry, you can kind of be in this box by yourself, physically in a physical building by
Yes.
yourself, a suite, whatever. And sometimes in order to create that community for yourself, you have to be willing to, ask those questions and
Yes.
definitely make sure you get that education. Like, stay up on your
Yes.
continuing education,
Yes. That's crucial.
please.
Yeah.
That's crucial. Even if you are refining something that you already do, get the
Mm-hmm.
education. There's
Mm-hmm.
always a different way to look at something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
always a different
Mm-hmm.
method, or again, just refining and fine tuning and rediscovering and loving again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being in a marriage for X amount of years and you go to the same restaurant every Friday at 7 o'clock. Well, the food is good. Food is still good. But you
Mm.
may want to switch up the restaurant sometime, and discover like, that food was good, but this food is the bomb. So it's good to
Right.
explore and just don't think that you always know everything there is to know.
So
That
There's more
part.
out there.
just you guys is industry is no different from others in a sense where there's a majority of individuals, I guess I could say a majority of individuals that are in the industry are satisfied with the level that they're at. Some would use the word complacent, or some would say, they're good. They don't strive for anything beyond what they already have achieved. They know how much money they're going to make every year. They know what clients they're going to see. They know their techniques. They don't do anything that's out of their comfort zone, and they make a good living, right? My industry, audio video, is the same. We got companies that do the same products, the same thing, the same mount, the same TVs on every single job. They never do anything different, and that's okay, right? But I say that to
Uh-huh.
say, in order to stand out in an industry like yours, right? What are some things that you guys pride yourself on, right? If I was to say, Whitney, what are you known for? Or Cecilia or Robin, what are you known for, right? What is that thing that sets you apart? Cece, you could start. Yours is more obvious to me, so we'll give
We're going go
we'll give
ahead,
you a
throw me a
shot.
bone. What you see, babe? What you see?
Come on now.
Just say it.
The thing that sets you apart is the vanilla mama situation. Come on now, don't act like
Oh,
that.
most definitely. I'm sorry.
Beautiful,
I know.
beautiful, beautiful,
That's
beautiful.
listen, and that listen. I don't. God just teed that one up for me. I don't even know how I got into
Yes.
Nah,
this, y'all.
oh, he
But
said he
yeah,
set you up big
I
Yes.
have
time.
Girl,
literally,
you know how
Yeah,
you
she
got
she
into
know
that.
Whitney.
I
She
have
know.
literally been like y'all, like my whole thing, like has really turned a corner that I didn't even realize. So I'm definitely going into an industry of education when it comes to the beauty industry. Like I have
Yes.
found a place where I'm just really, really happy. I've always wanted to be a teacher, a motivator, inspirator of people anyway. So this kind of like really, really is doing it for me. So yeah. So right now, I think I talked about that at the end of the last podcast, Mark. Yeah. So, I'm doing classes the second Monday of every month in the evenings, small group, hands on classes,
For who?
and
Who you doing the
it's
That's
classes
going
for?
dope.
good
First
for
first time listener.
specifically, well, it's inspired, okay, right, it's inspired for foster moms, and I mean, well, foster mom and dads or family, foster, adoptive, and mixed families. That's who it's inspired for. Anybody can take the class, and what's happened is I am only one individual, and my capacity has made it so where I need to be in front of, six people, a dozen people, a whole room full of people, and just teach them some basics to really just help these moms out because they're doing a really good deed. Like they are out here fostering and adopting brown girls and boys and have no clue, like none, where to even start. So, I mean, this class is your super basic fundamentals on detangling, parting, how to use products, how to use tools. That's it. And then we throw in a couple little Brady and some twists in there, some styles. But every month they're going to learn a different style and they're going to learn some new techniques. So that's been my new thing.
So I
And
need I need to add to
y'all,
this.
yeah.
I need
Oh,
to add to this, right? So I
okay,
I
go on.
I helped her do a class 2 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago, and what I
Hmm.
seen was, yeah, you're teaching people how to braid and how to detangle. Yes, we get it. But what you're actually doing, and this is why I said, what are you known for, right? What you're actually doing is you're instilling confidence and you're taking away anxiety, right?
Yes.
You have a
Thank you
room
for that. I told
of
y'all I don't do good with these.
you have a room of uh Caucasian parents who have these
Yep, my
beautiful
vanilla
brown
mamas.
babies at home that are embarrassed every time they leave the house because they know their hair does not look like it should. That's just what it is, right? They're embarrassed,
Yep, and we
and they
fixing
have
that though.
anxiety in
Yep.
that. And what Cece has been able to do is take that away. So
Mm-hmm.
they will literally pay her whatever she needs to be paid in order to release
Mm-hmm.
that, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I knew the other day when, for whatever reason, guys, it's kind of weird, but for whatever reason, her Facebook messages ended up on my phone. I don't know how this happened. Somebody logged in, forgot to log out. I don't know.
Oh
But
Lord, did I not respond back to
I seen a
somebody? What did it
message.
say,
No,
babe?
listen. I seen a message from what I would imagine is a white guy, a white dad, right? And the message said, such and such told me that you're the person I need to know. When can I get my daughter
Mm,
in? And I'm thinking to
Wow.
myself, like, that is an amazing position to be in.
mm,
Because again, what we always say on this show is when you know who you solve problems for, you will
Mm-hmm.
never be short of customers
Mm-hmm.
because you know who you're solving
mm.
problems for, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That
gonna pitch it
part.
back to Whitney or Robin. Again, the question is
Yeah.
what's your thing?
What are you
What
known
is how have
for?
you cornered the market to position yourself for success?
Okay. So I'm gonna say kind of like I have kind of two parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say initially, like with client wise, it was more so natural styling, blowouts, and weave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say the last probably 4 years, 4.5 years since I had my salon, it's actually been, I would say, mentoring, raising up newer stylists,
Wow.
um, and really just
Mm-hmm.
showing them,
Wow.
how it's to be done. Um, I really realized, like, for me, and where my position in the industry is really just to kind of like pave the way to show so
Mm-hmm.
many people like you can do this, you can have that.
Mm-hmm.
um and really when I realized that, I realized it wasn't, I'm not really doing this for me. Like, it's really like something God really chose me, and he really like be ordering my steps with this thing,
That's right.
because I honestly be like, why me? But then it's like, well, why not you? Like, so, um,
Amen.
but um, I really feel like that's how I've really been able to excel and be really like overabundant. Like,
Mm-hmm.
with me being so young, like, and just kind of, not gonna say carefree, because when you say it, it's like people like, oh, you don't care about anything. I'm gonna say, I guess, free spirited
There you go.
in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
I met Robin, I was like the youngest lady, youngest girl in the suites. They all been doing hair 15, 20 years. Everybody kind of stayed to themselves. Here I am knocking on everybody's door. Hey, how you doing? I'm Whitney.
No,
I'm
busting
real
in,
like
busting
Busted
social,
in,
it.
like,
Busted
busting
it.
in.
yeah,
There
So
was
like
she
no
ain't
knocking.
she ain't
like
knocked
I'm
one
gonna do
She
this
said no
like in my
knocking. She's
head.
busted in.
I'm like, for
No
real,
pun
like, what's
intended.
up?
No
Like, I'm
knocking.
here. Like, I'm so rude, but it was out of love. Like, I knew with the ladies that I was surrounded with, I had to kind of just take those gems. Like, it was so much
Mm.
knowledge
Mm-hmm.
that had to be poured, and it was like, it was only right. Like, I felt like within that time that I was there and around the men that I was working with, I felt like it would have been foolish for me to break in. Like, I might have
Ah,
had
yeah.
talent and drive, but it was like they had the business. Like, they was in the game for like
Mm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like had they stuff together, and I'm just like, oh yeah. Like, so yeah. In a sense, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, I'm Whitney. I'm here. I'm here taking notes. What's up?
Wow.
So, and I'm
Exactly.
like, I think
Period.
I'm at the point now to where I have women and men knocking at my door like, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I'm pouring that knowledge from the 10 years that
Mm-hmm.
I've been in this industry. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm pouring out everything. And I think that's where a lot of our blessings come from in this industry. So many, in a lot of industries, I feel like as entrepreneurs, they want to keep all of their knowledge to themselves. But essentially, you doing that, you hurting yourself. You keeping all of that in, when it's like you helping that next person. I feel like, not thinking they're gonna be competition, but telling their knowledge, telling them the knowledge that you have, and letting them make it their own is like priceless. Because when I
Mm.
see people like, just like seeing Cecilia, like I remember like hers, like, no, I don't know if I want to do hair, and I'm like, girl, go ahead, why not?
Mm.
What, like, your husband with it?
Mm.
That's all the support you need. Go ahead, go for it. And
Right.
just to see where she's at now, and
Yeah.
balancing,
Mm-hmm.
like her home and work, like, to me, that's so rewarding. When it was like, all
Mm.
it was a simple conversation. Like, you know
Wow.
what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, and I
Yeah.
just feel like those moments to me are priceless. So to me, I'm kind of like
Yeah.
a lot of times an open book.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
love it.
amazing.
I love
That's
it.
amazing. You like a
Love
business.
it.
You like a business incubator for up and coming cosmetologists.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's a
And you know
safe
Yeah.
what?
place, man. It's a safe place.
To be honest, I get a lot of calls to where I'm kind of even considering doing consulting for people just in like different industries.
There
Like,
it
they're
Yeah.
like,
is.
how did you
There
do
it
this?
is,
What did you
with.
do? Like,
Yep.
and they're,
Yep.
reaching out, and I'm like, boom, okay. Like, I might have to start
Yeah.
charging for this just a
Hey,
little bit,
Hey,
because
let's talk
Absolutely.
after the show,
Absolutely.
with. We got
yes you
something for
do.
Absolutely.
you.
yeah.
Yes you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
like I feel like I want to add to that. I just feel like Whitney's spirit is like that spirit of like she's the one that's going to like plant the seed for you. And I feel like Robin, in a sense, have been that one who's been watering that seed. And I just feel like Whitney is that type of person
Mm.
that can really inspire you to know that you can do it. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know how you would feel about me saying this, but I'm just going ahead and say it. Just her confidence in her body image to the world right now, y'all, is giving everybody life.
Thank
You know what I
you.
mean? Like, you can do it. It don't matter what you look like or what people have told you. You got to have confidence in
Yep.
you. And so just
Yeah,
that alone can spark so much inspiration to people. Yeah, definitely check her out, y'all.
absolutely.
Whitney B.
Whitney
Thank
B.
you.
Whitney
Whitney B
B.
is just,
Whitney B.
she's
Thank you. I
Miss
contagious.
love
Robin,
y'all.
what you known for? What you known for,
What
Miss
am I known
Robin?
for?
Other than
Yes.
these two young ladies on the call right
I
now,
know, right?
giving you the roses. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I love
listen.
it. I
Hey,
receive and
when they're
thank
due,
you
you got to
guys. I
hand them
love you
to you.
guys so
Yes.
much.
Okay.
They inspire me. They inspire me. Like they just do.
Aw.
They say I give to
Hmm.
them. You guys give to me. You just have no idea. Whitney's spirit, Cecilia's spirit. But I'm telling you, it goes back to we have this common thing called faith in God. And I'm
That's
telling you, that's
right.
where that
Hmm.
comes from. That's
Yeah.
where that comes from.
Mm.
Um, what am I known for? Color. I
Color.
Yeah.
love hair
Yeah.
color. I
Yeah.
love hair color. It just brings me
Yes.
life, gives me joy. It's a way to just change an appearance without like cutting someone's hair off. You know, Settled. It can be subtle or it could be, to the extreme, but I enjoy transforming someone's hair through color.
Let
Yeah,
me
I
ask you a
love that.
question. I wanna really
Mm.
ask you a question, and this is for all of you guys, but specifically for Robin because she said transform. That's a powerful
Mm.
word, right?
Woo.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
talk to me talk to me a little bit about um, compensation. Now follow me here. Yes, they pay you to do their hair, right? But how much more compensation do you get when you see someone, when you spin that chair around, they look in the mirror and their face lights up? Like, what does that do for you?
Does a
Mm.
lot for me. It's even a confidence builder for me. Going
Okay.
back to when you've
Hmm.
done something maybe over and over again, you haven't always done it over and over again on the same person. Or you may have provided a color service for a guest before, but
Mm-hmm.
now this is a totally different direction. Maybe they've
Mm-hmm.
reached some point in their lives where they just need a change. And so to be able to
Mhm.
offer that in the form of artistry, to your point, Cecilia, that'll change the trajectory of their whole life just based
Yes,
on
it does.
Hmm.
color
Yes, it
change.
does.
Just an outward appearance. That's a form of compensation for me. And secondly, when you really get opportunity to get to know someone. Yes, we provide a service. Yes, they pay us. But when I may start off with a client who was single, now
Mm-hmm.
she's married, now
Mm-hmm.
she has children, or a
Mhm.
guy. I have
Mhm.
male clients, single, married, and now children. So we've walked this path together.
Wow.
And the hair has changed over the course of these years, and we've
Mm-hmm.
pivoted, you know, according to whatever their hair will give me to work with. But I'm working from the outside in. That's
Mm.
part of why the name of the salon is Awakenings Hair Health and Wellness Salon, because I want to focus on helping someone awaken. Now I work from the outside, but I'm going
Hmm.
from the outside in.
That's
Yeah.
So I'm
beautiful,
trying to
Robin.
help someone awaken within themselves.
Yeah.
And then that leads to the wellness piece. So so yeah, that's a form
You
of
know,
compensation that I get.
Wow.
Miss Robin, I never thought about it that way, that we're working on them from the outside in. I
Yeah.
just never like that concept alone, because in a sense it's like we're also like a therapist. Should have got a degree in therapy, y'all.
Hmm.
Oh,
Should have.
we're definitely
But
therapists with shears for sure.
yeah, okay, yeah, because
Or
it's
I was
like,
just a
they're
bartender
coming to
with
you.
shears. That's what I did.
Like all of that. It is. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, because it's like they're coming to you first. It's the relief that they found you, right, and then it's the relief
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
you did it and you did it good, and the
Yeah.
relief that and I mean, literally to see a client's like confidence just spark when they leave you, and to know that
Yeah.
you attributed to that feels really
Hmm.
good. That's the
Yeah.
rewarding part, I think, in this
Yeah.
industry right here. It's just
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
something as simple as the look, as we say, the flick of the wrist is right on
Yeah.
point for them. That
Yeah.
everything is hitting, that color is hitting, that right lighting. I mean, and then they send you that, thank you, girl, my hair look good, or I got
Yeah.
compliments. That's the part. That's the part.
Yeah.
That's why I go in when I go in, and
Yeah.
y'all, because of that,
Yeah.
honestly, it don't even feel like a job sometimes. It just doesn't.
Exactly.
It just feel like I'm going into my art studio for real. Hence the name, Artist Cecilia
Amen.
Hair Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it
That's
ever
a
get
bit.
old? Does it ever get old? Do you ever look at yourself and say, I've done this style thousands of times. I know it's gonna turn out good
Absolutely.
because I'm good,
Absolutely.
right? It's like, like, do you ever just like, all right, that'll be 39.50. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
does
we ain't doing
does
3950s no more. What you talking about? We don't do
Yeah.
3950
here
no
we
more
go,
around here.
here
Um,
we go. Does it get
that's a
old?
whole nother show. Now listen,
No, no.
pricing, that is
Here's the
a
question.
whole nother show.
Here's the
But
question. Here's the question. Does it get
that's when you
old?
just change up your services.
Does it get old? And when will you know that it's time to stop?
Ooh. Ooh, Miss Robin,
Oh,
can you
can I
take that
Good.
start?
one? Or somebody take that one. That would
Oh,
take
go
that
That's
ahead,
with.
really
Robin.
Ooh,
good. That's good. Does it get
because
old?
I'm not even
Let
close
me
to that.
let
I'm
me
not
let, let
even
me give you
close to
some.
that
Let me give you
point.
some more
But
time to think of the answer. Miss Robin asked me if I was watching a game, right? Because it is Sunday evening. We're looking at a guy on TV who's in his 40s, who's playing like
Yeah.
he's in his 20s.
mm,
Now that doesn't
Yeah.
happen in the NFL. We're talking about Tom Brady. It doesn't happen.
Peep this, peep
yep,
this, peep this,
yeah.
peep
Go
this,
ahead. Go
because I'm a
ahead.
sports fanatic. Okay. Talking my stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Come
right.
on.
So he's 44 years old, been in the game, I think 20 something years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did he do? He could have stayed in New England, still get
Mm,
paid,
He could have.
well respected.
Yeah, he was a king.
Everybody kind of can guess what he's going to do, how he's going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
because they're accustomed to him,
Mm-hmm.
But he pivoted, he took the risk,
He did.
and he bounced. And we still talking about him. And
Yep.
then wait, he went to another team and didn't just play on the team.
No, no, no. He didn't just play.
He won the Super Bowl. What?
And,
mm.
and quiet as it kept, he
Dang,
probably
yeah,
gonna win it
yeah.
again.
And might win another one. So, it's a great metaphor for if you're in that place where you're sensing that this is getting old.
Mm-hmm.
Pivot. You're allowed.
Mm.
We have so much latitude in our industry. Wit
Come on now.
opened a barbershop
Yeah, that's a pivot,
next to
baby.
her salon. That's a pivot.
Yes.
Cecilia, she's
Mhm.
educating. She found a niche market. She's pivoting. I
Mm-hmm.
started,
Yep.
humble brag, a nonprofit in conjunction with
Go on,
Awakenings.
girl.
You pivot. You start to explore. We're not one dimensional.
Say that again.
We have a right to explore different things. Hairdressing, cosmetology, that's what I do. That's a service that I offer. That's not who I am.
Mm.
Come on.
I'm a woman. I can
Yep.
explore, I have the ability to explore other avenues. However, you still have to keep the fundamentals in place.
Yeah.
Make sure you're still on your
Right.
A game. You're taking care of your clientele as you explore, as you pursue. Tom Brady didn't stop going to practice because he was thinking about switching teams. He had to keep his game
Mm,
tight because what? He's still trying to get paid,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
mm.
So
That's right.
Yeah.
some of that.
And he listen. And he didn't.
You're
He didn't
welcome.
stop going to practice after he won the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth Super Bowl.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And what did he do? He brought his homies. Like I got my girls right here.
That's
Wit
right.
and Cece.
He called up all his
Exactly.
friends. He called
Yes.
up all his friends. Say, "Hey, we going to Tampa Bay.
Yes. We
What's
Come
we
through."
up?
got this.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We
Facts.
all can get paid
Yeah.
in more ways
Yeah.
than one.
I'm,
For
In
I'm with
more
real.
ways
Robin.
than one.
For real. So listen, ladies. This
Yeah.
is the time of the show where I'm going to ask you to speak directly to the listeners, to drop some gems, give them some words to live by, something that they can use today, right? Motivation, inspiration, challenge. We're going to start off with Whitney, and the floor is yours.
Okay. If any advice, I would just say, try to be open minded. Be somewhat receptive to. I'll try to listen to. Um, a little bit of everybody, and I just take heed to what everyone's saying, and I make it what's best for me. Um, I also would say take no as not right now, not as permanently no, because it could just not be your season at the moment. Doesn't mean it will never happen for you. I would also say to stay consistent. Um, and just really give it your all, whatever that is for you, like in your craft, just give it your all. And I feel like as long as you're giving your best, and staying, just feel like you can flourish and make anything work. That's
All
what my
righty,
opinion is.
all righty. Cecilia, the floor is yours.
Hey, it's your girl Cece again. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I do that. But anyways,
Love it.
y'all gonna get used to me.
It's your girl
Y'all
Cece.
gonna get used to me on
I
this.
love it.
Um,
I love the
so
tone too.
today
Say it again.
I was gonna go live today and say something to the people because I was kind of moved after church service and I wanted to say something and I didn't get a chance to do it and that's all right. But I wanted to ask the
Tell us
people out
now.
there and for the listener out there, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and said to yourself, I love you.
Mm.
You got this. Keep going. And if you really don't know when the last time you did that, I strongly suggest you do that because you have to love who you are and be so comfortable with who you are and be confident in the gifts that you have and the talents that you have. And this is a entrepreneurial type of podcast, and if there's a business that you are trying to start that you've been hesitant to start, just do it now and just start. There's you can at least start with the three of us ladies here with Mark. Start somewhere and just get inspired and just start connecting with somebody. The other thing I'm gonna leave y'all with, and I just started reading this book, y'all. I'm 6 chapters in and I'm loving it. It's by Tabitha Brown, Feeding the Soul, and that's your business. Get the audio version of this, y'all. And I wish she was paying me for this. But anyways, no, get her book, get her audio version of this or whatever, because one, her voice is the bomb. Like she's so inspiring. Like I said, I've literally like read like 5 chapters in one sitting already. And I think I got about 26 chapters, but they're very short, simple, easy to read. She has some recipes in there, but it's really very inspiring. Like it kind of got me kind of back, jump start. And that's one of the questions she asked, do you love you? And that's all I want to leave y'all with this week. I guess
Appreciate
y'all
you.
will hear from me.
Yes.
Y'all will hear from me in a
Appreciate
couple
you.
of weeks.
Yes.
Robin, the floor is yours.
A couple things. Speaking of books, there's a book out there entitled Essentialism, and the
Essentialism.
author's
Mm-hmm.
name
That one.
is
Yes, yes.
McNolan. That's his last
Let
name,
me look it up
McNolan.
for you.
Yes,
Let me
please do that.
see. Yep. Greg
Essentialism.
McNolan.
Greg McNolan. Essentialism is basically about, and I spoke with Cece about this. It's about
Mm-hmm.
knowing what to say no to, not just for the sake of saying no, but learn how to say no to things
Right.
so that you can say yes to the things that
Mm,
matter to you. So if you are in
okay.
entrepreneurship, if you're seeking to start a business or redefining your business, you're going to have to say no to some things so that you can focus on that. Take that time to develop yourself and your craft too, which really should be number one. But seek the kingdom
Mm-hmm.
first.
That's
Matthew
right.
6:33, that's my life
Mm-hmm.
scripture. That is
Same
my
here.
life scripture.
Same here.
Is it? Yeah, it's just bomb, y'all. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot in
What's
that
that
verse.
scripture again?
Seek ye first the kingdom
Matthew
Yo,
of
yeah,
God.
6
amen.
33. Seek ye
Amen.
first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and
There
then
it
all
is.
these things will be
All
added
these
unto you.
things.
Because if you're
Unto
seeking
you.
him, you ain't got to worry about everybody else.
That's right.
Everybody
Facts.
is not always going to be on your team.
Tell them.
Everybody is not going to always understand or realize your dream. It's on you and God. But he put the dream in you
Hmm.
anyway. So he will fulfill that. But seek him first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. real quick, can each of you drop your booking app or your address, or how can the people find you? We're going to put all your links in the show notes, but real quick, Cecilia, you're on Booksy. That is correct.
Yeah, no, I'm on my website. So go on ahead and hit me up at artofcecilia.com.
Same thing.
We're laughing because we talked
I'm just playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my website.
Then you can get to what you need to get to. But anyways, I need the traffic to go to my site.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole I'm telling you, that's the episode. Pricing is episode.
Easy to do business with.
Professionalism is episode.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, Whitney, where you at?
Okay. You can find me at Whitney B Hair Studio on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. You can find the salon and book on there 24/7 at www.whitneybhairstudio.com.
All righty, Robin, how about you?
So currently, you can reach out to me via email at r.ellington@yahoo.com.
I love this.
And this is for consultation purposes only.
I love this.
Because I've reached a stage where at present, I'm honoring my core clientele. And I'm not accepting any new clientele for approximately 3 to 6 months.
Do y'all hear the mentor? Do y'all hear the mentor talking? Do you hear the mentor?
Yes.
Okay.
I hear it.
It's a lot of what she just said. That's
I've been
wisdom.
getting gems, y'all, for about 2. Come on,
y'all. Listen. Okay, so listen. I'm gonna leave you with this.
She said, "Per my present." You know, my present. See, this is why I love you, Miss Robin.
It's not available at this time.
Just let me know. Right. Just let me know when you guys are done. We'll close the show out. Just let me know. I'll be over here. Let me know. Go ahead. Talk amongst yourselves. Go ahead.
Now you knew you couldn't get. You couldn't get a room full of stylists without us being a little bit. You know, we know we extra. Come on,
I knew this was gonna happen. I just didn't think it was gonna take. You know, I thought it would be 20 minutes in. I thought.
But I gotta tell you this real quick, Mark. That 808 at the beginning, the top of the podcast.
You like that?
Bang it.
You know, I've been contemplating. Do I switch the music? Do I keep the music? I'm gonna keep the music. I'm gonna keep it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep the music.
It gets you in the mood. It gets you going.
Yes. Okay.
All right, you ready? Okay, here we go. Listen. Listen, they're getting silly. We got to go. We start off this conversation talking about faith. Robin mentioned faith. And I would challenge you that the time that you have spent exclusively talking about what it is that you want to do has not been wasted, but you're about to get to that point. Because there's only so much talking that can be done when an opportunity is in front of you. Right? Now we know, speak it into the atmosphere. We've heard these things. We know this to be true. There is a element of the process that involves, number 1, seeking, number 2, speaking, and number 3, doing, which we will have a series on that coming up. Seek it, speak it, do it. But the reality is you're getting to the point where the people around you, you have exhausted them because all you have been doing is talking. I'm challenging you right now to put your faith in action and step out and make a gesture toward the direction you want to go. That's all I'm saying. Just posture yourself to move in that direction. I'll give you an example. The part of the business that is coming back to life for me right now in terms of audio video, I have done not much in the realm of advertising just because I want to be referral based. But when I postured myself in position to be ready when people call me, I'm telling y'all, the doors have opened up and the windows of heaven are in the process of pouring out a blessing. And all I did was posture myself. I stepped out on faith, right? I still don't know what's going to happen, but things are looking good. So I challenge you guys right now, put your faith in action, see what you're made of, see what you're built of, and step out and make that move, right? Step out and make that move. So listen, guys, this has been the School of Hard Knocks podcast. Thank you to my co-host Cecilia and my wonderful guests Robin and Whitney. We'll put all of their information in the show notes.
Such an honor.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Such an honor. Thank you so
I'm
much.
your host, Mark W. Knox. Class is dismissed.
Stay on, y'all. Hold on.
All right, we good.
Oh, okay. All right.